Hello, fellow truth seekers. Welcome. My name's Kathleen. I am one of the spirit operators. Today we are looking at the brain is not the mind. So there's going to be a lot of controversy over this, but let's take a look at it, okay? And you have to decide for yourself, but you also need to investigate this. Okay. So, the brain. What is the brain? The brain is a physical object in our head. It's part of the body. And because it's physical, it's limited with that physicality. Okay, so now let's take a look at the mind. The mind is formless. The mind is limitless. So, how can we know? Okay, so our thoughts, they're not physical. Our thoughts come and go, here, there, everywhere, but they're formless. They're not a physical entity, I guess you could call it. They don't have any physicality to them. So that hints or shows us that the mind itself is not physical. If the brain was the mind, and let's say we went to visit somewhere, we would have to physically go there for the brain to be there for us to experience it. That's if the mind was the brain. But the mind isn't the brain. So we can, for instance, go to Paris and visit the Eiffel Tower. And we can do that all in our imagination, all in our mind, from pictures we may have seen, from videos or films we may have seen that had the Eiffel Tower. We can actually imagine, even if you've never been there, you can imagine being under it and looking up and, seeing the structure. You can even imagine hearing the noises of the city, of birds or whatever. And that's all just with your imagination, because the mind is formless and limitless. It can go there. Or the pyramids in Egypt. You can go and imagine being there. Imagine climbing up the pyramids or standing at the pyramids and looking up at the structure. But your mind can go there. It doesn't physically have to be there in order to experience it. But for our bodies, we would have to physically be there to experience it. Anyone who has ever done a shamanic journey or had an out-of-body experience, or those types of things, can tell you that the mind is not the brain, because they've left their body and yet their mind is still functioning. They are still able to see things, hear things. I'm not sure about out-of-body experiences. I don't think I've ever had one, but I do shamanic journeying and can hear, smell, taste, touch, everything that we do here. You can do in a shamanic journey. Also in a shamanic journey, you can have a completely different body and you can feel that body. You do shape shifting and you can feel it, and it's not the same body that you have here. Well, that would be impossible if the mind was the brain, but it's not. They're not. The mind is not physically limited or at all limited as it would be if it was the brain. Okay? It's formless. It's infinite. Even science is starting to kind of catch up with this knowledge or idea. They've got quantum physics, and quantum physics is getting closer to the reality of how things are, in that, you know, they've got things down to an atom, and then that's so small, but they've got it even smaller, and there's quarks and strings and all those ideas that they call it. But when you're looking into that, it's showing that there's less and less matter, more and more space. Okay. Another way we can look at it is dreams. When we have dreams, we actually think we're in the dream while we're dreaming. It's not until we wake up that we go, oh, that was just a dream. It seemed real when we were doing it. And again, you can be in a different body and things in a dream. I have. And so I assume others have this experience as well. So that's another thing that shows us. And so why is there this mistake? Why do people assume that the brain is the mind? This has to do with our sense awarenesses. So our sight sense, for instance, our eyes, located here in our head. Our sound awareness, ears, again, located in our head. Okay. Smell, taste, touch too, because of our tongue and lips being sensitive, but touch is our whole body. But anyway, so the majority of those awarenesses are here, located in our head, and that's where the brain is, where the organ of the brain is. And also, I know they've done studies where they light up different parts of the brain, things are happening. But that's the brain, and that's the physicality of the body. But the mind, so again, to take this a little bit further, if you're quiet, have your eyes closed, but you're thinking, maybe you're seeing images. Well, again, that would happen where your sight awareness is, which is located around your head. And if you're hearing, you hear your own voice, you're thinking, you're hearing things, if you're imagining hearing things like music or something, again, your sound awareness is in your head. So that, I think, is where the assumption comes from, that the brain is the mind, but it's not. Okay, the mind is formless, infinite, because we're aware of like outer space, everything. We're aware of so much more than what we would be limited to if our mind was the physical brain. Okay, that's it for this video. And just a reminder that we have a website. I've created a NeoCities website, and we're also on Bluesky. There's hopefully links that work in the description below. Otherwise, you might have to copy and paste to join us there, but we'd love for you to join us there. If there's anything you want to ask questions about or make comments, please do so. That's always welcome. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this helped you sort of gain some deeper or different understanding of what's going on. And thanks so much for joining us. See you later.